This stream contains fast flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
Three teams have been locked in for Masters Shanghai, but our kings have yet to be crowned. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the VCT Americas mid-season playoffs. Today, it's our best of 5 lower bracket final. I'm Uber. I'm on the desk today with Ender and Mimi. My big thing is, love best of 5s. Said that this morning. So many maps. I'm ready for maximum VALORANT today. Still won't be as long as yesterday. We had 6 maps, of course, to get us here. That was an absolute slobber knocker. I'm very excited for this series.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good one. G2 has been on this run thus far after a tough start to their group stages. I think surprised everyone by making it this far into playoffs. They're already qualified to Shanghai, but they have a chance to continue today against a Leviatán who only just made it over the line against Crew.
Yeah, Leviatán, who are big favorites coming in. Of course, there was a very real world where that series slips away from them just yesterday, but they have to go through the ringer now of playing potentially 2 best of 5s, either of these teams, depending on who wins.
Right. I mean, we're in the lower finals, so there's a long road for many of these teams to make it to the very top here. But we should probably recap yesterday's matches in a bit more detail because they set the stage and the table for today's lower finals. First, we had G2 versus 100 Thieves in the upper bracket final. What a bizarre game. Honestly, Bind didn't go the way we thought it would. Ascent also was very peculiar, I thought. And it really went down to the wire.
Yeah, 100 Thieves here really coming out strong in that third map. I think they had a great read to kind of change up their style, go for a little less aggression in that one, and with some great individual performances, they have that big advantage into the finals. But this lower bracket game also, I think, went a lot further than people expected.
Yeah, I mean, this first game was crazy with all those different clutches going back and forth. Then, of course, Lev going down on against Crew in that first game. Of course, had to battle their way back, especially in that second half of Sunset.
It's wild watching. Lotus was nowhere near it didn't play out the same way, I guess, as between Lev and Crew the previous time, right?
Yeah.
And actually,
because Lev smacked him the first time around.
Yeah.
Right, ended up being extremely one-sided. That was like the map to start their series that kind of set the tone already that Lev would be dominant, and then it sort of got fought back. So we have an interesting situation where we got to look at those two teams quite close to each other, playing separate matches. But our bracket has now shrunk down. It's just 3 teams remaining
Honey,
here
I
in our
shrunk the
mid-season
bracket.
playoffs. That's right. And that brings us, of course, to a best of 5 lower bracket final. G2 versus Leviatán. The winner moves on to face 100 Thieves in tomorrow's best of 5 grand final. 3 championship points and a #1 seed for Masters Shanghai on the line. That is huge because the #1 seeds, they don't have to play in the group stage. They sit out of that.
And also with that cool new format that got announced, they get to pick their opponent. I'm unbiased, but also I would love to see Boostio pick his opponent in playoff.
Who's he picking?
It's got to be one of the Chinese.
A Chinese.
The history he has in China if he could do that. But he still has to win and lock that in. And these lower bracket teams, even with that advantage, have a chance to go on a run here. But it would have to be back-to-back BO5s with very little turnaround time before flying out to China. The road is still very long.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Is 100 Thieves actually get to sit back and now watch the games today sort of unfold because
they were talking about how big that would be for them.
I think
They've been playing like day
said
after
how
day.
huge that was.
Yeah.
So they had 1 day off, finally.
Yeah, and they haven't had an off day in the last 2.5 weeks, yeah.
And the thing is, all our playoff teams are probably in that same boat. It has been a really, really kind of tight schedule here for these squads. It's a big test.
Well, I want to dive into that in just a moment because there are some specifics. We saw our King look very tired yesterday. We'll bring that up in a second. But as we come to the end of stage 1, let's take a look back and give out some superlatives, some awards. You Americans like yearbooks, right? You guys have those?
Do you not have them in Australia?
Not really. Not in the same way, anyway. We have a class photo, but...
It was like a big thing in my house.
I don't know. You guys have fun with it, though. I respect it. We're just like, don't do that.
I guess there wasn't superlative. Did you have superlatives?
I think so, but no one cares.
That's like the most likely to stuff, right?
Yeah, but they are super, so you gotta give them
If you're
that.
Aussie out there and you actually do that, let me know, because it could just be that I'm too old for that, and maybe we've just become
I feel
more
like it's
Americanized.
more of an old thing.
Yeah.
Superlatives?
Is it not done anymore now? Oh,
I don't know. We're youthful and we're doing it now.
Right. So first up, our class clown with a late surge. One might even say flagrantly aggressive. We have to give this one to Boostio. I don't know. This one for me, bit of an easy one.
He's just every time he's on stage.
I mean, I would be really upset if I was his teacher because he's just never in his seat, right? He's always yelling. Like, it would be really hard to, get a lesson across.
Classmates constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at this guy. He's never on topic. He's not bringing his supplies properly into the server.
It's like, hey, does anybody have a pencil?
His pencil breaks midway through the essay. He still passes it. You
My
know?
teammate ate my homework.
I mean, hey, he's a guy whose equipment can literally die in midway through the round and still manage to win it.
Yeah, but you've seen what he's done for the team, right? Like, I feel like you didn't see these 100 Thieves players being this happy, smiling this much before he came into the roster.
Well, they were also losing, Mimi.
Yes, that's part of it. But I think he's one of the big reasons that they are winning now.
Fair play.
I think that was you or Bang was saying winning on 100 Thieves is different, just like the vibe. And
I think it was actually Bustio who was saying
Right.
that it feels even better in some ways than the run he went on with EG last year.
Yeah, he said it was. Yeah, that was crazy,
Which
right?
is great. He
Their
said it was-
first win was better than winning.
Yes.
Shit.
Yeah, okay. Now that is a clownish statement to make.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about our most likely to succeed. We're giving it over to Oxy. Is that because he's just a little guy and has got a brilliant career future ahead of him? I mean, again, he's looked fantastic with that Cloud9 team. We're not
I mean,
looking at the
most likely
playoffs.
to succeed in VALORANT, that's for sure.
On an individual basis?
Yeah.
I mean, despite the fact that C9 ended up losing out and not getting their run in playoffs, he was just the man in every match for this C9 team. They did so much better than I think anyone could have expected looking at this roster at the beginning of the year, and his performance was paramount to that.
Yeah, ever since he started getting the ball rolling. I also feel like it's just been so fun to see his reactions to every single play. Like, he's always so positive in the server. Him and
energy
Vanity
is
both has
electric.
been great.
Yeah, I mean, in a similar vein to Vusio, but he's still sat in his seat, right? But there's a lot of yelling, there's singing.
He's in his seat, but he's like, yeah!
Every round.
I love that. All right, let's move on here. The honors for biggest glow up is a tie, actually.
Oh.
And it goes to jointly 100 Thieves and Crew. I mean, let's contrast the teams as they are now
Sure.
to where they were last year.
Well-
You mentioned 100 Thieves last year. They were losing.
Well-
That's how you put it. Pretty safe to say they've come a long way.
Same with Crew, actually.
They lost, in fact, every match last year until LCQ, where they did go on that run, but they turned things around to be one game away from Shanghai. Obviously heartbreaking that they ended up losing, but still a massive recovery for them.
Even looking at this year, it's a glow up for these teams because both of these teams were last place in their respective groups in Kickoff. Right? 100 Thieves, last place in Group B. Crew, last place in the 3-team Group C. It's crazy now that they've both gone on to such runs. And actually, thinking about it, how imbalanced were our groups in Kickoff?
They were ridiculous.
If you look at stage 1 playoffs or top 4, Group A has 0 teams that made top 4. Group B and C had both of their 2 teams that didn't advance that end up being in our top
being in
4
the
now.
play, yeah.
Yes.
The worst teams in Group B and C are the best teams in stage 1.
What? Figure that out for me, folks.
Random seeding moment.
Well, you know, it is what it is. Finally, there's one team we have to recognize for best drip. Oh, this is easy. G2 Esports. Yeah, I mean, this isn't even showing, I think, like the polo. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I mean, these guys are kind of fly.
Is it just because they wear sunglasses?
Well, it's not. It's that they're the Oakley sunglasses, my guy. You know. They
Oh,
got the
okay,
Ralph
it's the
Lauren.
brand.
They're
Okay.
Yeah. And
Got any other plugs you need to get in there?
I'm not
Whatever
doing it.
pays the bills,
I'm
man.
not doing it for me. Like, I just thought that was kind of part of the drippiness here. But again, yeah, all right, it's subjective. Beauty, drip, it's in the eye of the beholder. But before we get into today's matchup, I have a question for the desk. This one also very subjective, so I want to hear what you think. If you could choose any VCT Americas player to be your duo, who would you pick?
Well, I would say Bustio, but I feel like he'd be buying op in way too many rounds. So I'm going to have to take him out of the equation on that one. I'm going to go with Oxy.
So your duo can't buy op in...
He's
No.
just a hater. He thinks
No, I'm just a
Gecko
hater of
can't
the op. I'm sorry,
Yet
you know.
he continues to play with me, who flagrantly ops on illegal agents.
Her
So.
raise is absolutely disgusting. Sorry.
No, it's great. It's
Maybe.
great. And I would pick Bustio because I respect him greatly, and I think he would bring great vibes. He's a good leader, and he also performs insanely well.
I'm replacing you with Oxy. You're out
He's
of the
not gonna
duo.
play
You're
with
done.
you.
Oxy would play with me.
No, he won't.
Yeah,
He
he's so
doesn't know
nice.
you like that.
I'd be like,
All right,
hey,
we
I
asked
need a
the
boost.
pros
Can you
the
help
same
me?
question in this installment of Profiles, so check it out.
If I could be duo partners with anyone in VCT Americas, I'd probably pick one of my teammates, maybe like Trent or Valen, you know, any of my teammates, you know, I'll do it with any of my teammates.
Me gustaría jugar dúo con Oxy. Me gusta mucho su estilo de juego y lo encuentro una persona también divertida y carismática. Y nada, llamo como bromeo un poco porque él tiene un nombre parecido al mío en inglés, entonces es una persona que me agrada su forma de ser.
I'd have to say EIU on 100 Thieves. I played a lot with him. Also G2 Valen. Probably those two.
Probably more Zekin because he's a demon. I want my RR at night.
I'd probably duo with Zekin just because we're USBX teammates and he's rank 1 of React, so he could probably just carry me.
Normalmente eu jogo duo com os brasileiros ou os meninos do meu time também, mas acho que não tem ninguém específico que eu tenha vontade de jogar muito duo. Normalmente eu tô com a galera do Brasil e tanto do meu time, às vezes alguém da Fúria ou da Loud, mas normalmente é entre a gente assim os duos.
I want to play with Kesnet one time. The way he was playing against me the other day, I was like, damn, like, let me see that confidence from you. I want to see how they play. And I'll probably say Kesnet. He's nice. I like that guy.
I'd have to say Ethan, honestly. Playing with Ethan is really easy, really fun. He's really smart. He's really mechanically gifted. He makes the game easy. He basically plays the game for you. He just tells you what to do and you just move your fingers and do it. And I think he's a really, really talented just person, so definitely Ethan. We play a lot of other games together, so.
Probably RGL Meister from MIBR. Sometimes I get him on my team in ranked and he's insane. And I have a lot of respect for him, so I'd want to play with him.
All right, so let's get into today's best of 5 matchup and talk about Leviatán and G2. This isn't the first time these two teams have met on stage, of course. They went head-to-head in Week 3. Leviatán took down G2 2-1. It wasn't the most convincing showing from Lev, even in a winning game. But conversely, we got to see some promise from G2 as they started to ramp up throughout the stage.
Yeah, I think G2 really started to impress on that icebox, and that's been a pretty solid map for them ever since. But things started out on this map of Breeze, where actually a guy like Tex was really stepping up, maybe.
Yeah, he was just dominating to get this series going. I think charged up against his former team. But despite that good icebox, once we got into map number 3, this was definitely a snowball for Lev. I think G2 wasn't quite proactive enough to stop Ospas from harvesting the orbs. They got some early ults online. They ran away with that attack side and cleaned things up on the defense to win the match. But G2 have grown a lot since the team that lost that match to Lev, so I expect things to be a lot more competitive today.
Too much for a Breeze team. That was the first map of that series, but I feel like that was more of a Leviatán pick than a G2.
Yeah, I mean, that's a spooky first map when Ospas is going to be in the server against you, just absolutely dominating
I also
you on the
didn't
jet.
love the solo Yoru comp they were playing. Most of the time, if you're playing that Yoru, it's like the Jet Yoru combination. I feel like it put a lot of pressure on Icy to be the guy rotating quickly, also be basically the only guy with flashes who can combine with that Sova, and the only dive player on the team. I feel like it puts a lot of roles into that basket that just wasn't working out for them super well.
I feel like we're going to circle back to that conversation pretty soon.
We're pretty likely to get them out today.
Absolutely, especially in a best of 5. But Leviatán came into this tournament as a number 1 seed, but found themselves facing elimination alongside their LATAM rival crew. These two teams, top seeds in their respective groups. Many people thought that both would be headed off to Shanghai, but eventually that trip was only big enough for one of them.
Yeah, and honestly, it looked like it was going to be Crew. After the first map and after the way that this Icebox game started, it was running away in Crew's favor. But all of a sudden, in that second half of Icebox, Ospas has the insane rounds. Tex, again, having those huge clutches. And then Lev really kept that snowball rolling for Sunset.
Yeah, Mazzino is the guy as well who is having great moments on that Sunset map. I think their attack side there was looking incredible, winning a couple big clutches and really getting that ball rolling. But that's not really what we expected from that series. If you remember, every single person was predicting Lev to win that match. I honestly thought it was going to be a clean game, something that they could even run away with a stomp on that. But Crew, I think, really stepped up in that one. And also it was a pretty slow start for Lev. They were making a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes in the first two matches.
Was bizarre.
Yeah, it was also a big off day for King, I think, individually and as an IGL.
Which he admits to, I think.
Yeah, we got to talk to him after the games, and he said in those first couple of games he felt really out of it. Right, the team wasn't necessarily playing together. He felt a little bit shaky individually as well, and I think it was a big sign of theirs that Ospas was able to sort of rally the troops in that second game and give them back the confidence they needed to be able to play a very convincing Sunset.
And that's the big thing, right? That they did end up winning that series. I think Lev is a team that when you get deeper and deeper into this series, especially today in a BO5, G2's strength tends to be the game planning, the prep ahead of time. Lev is really good at winning out in these scrappy moments, having a player like King or Ospas come online and save these moments.
And again, we've seen, I think, Lev have a decently broad map Paul. And again, they just seem pretty confident on a lot of these ones. Whereas, yeah, G2, they have to game plan for every single one of these eventualities. Like, how do they walk into a map veto kind of knowing what will come out the other side? It seems like a huge challenge to them. But crucially, Leviatan's win sends Aspas back to the global stage once again. It's been quite a long time coming, and many of us expected to see him in Madrid. A lot of people, high expectations for this Leviatán roster. Finally, he's back under the international spotlight.
Any global event without Aspas is honestly a crime. This guy,
Mickey Mouse.
every event he goes to, in conversation for best player in the world.
I mean, let's just appreciate these 2 rounds on Icebox where he gets this 3K on the entry, and then, well, we actually don't get to see the near ace, but he was a beast in that one.
I mean, this one was also a bit of a near
No,
ace.
true. There were so many of those rounds, and that's why I think I'm less interested in how G2 figures out how to deal with these maps, and more interested in how do they deal with Aspas, because the way he is able to play on the defensive side and hide behind the default rounds that Lev throw against you. It is so shocking when he comes at you, the angles he's going to swing into late, especially on a map like Icebox, right? As soon as you use your initiator utility, there he is swinging over top yellow and killing 2, 3, 4 people.
Yeah, his teammates also talk about how a lot of the times he's a guy who doesn't always need a ton of setup, can kind of go off on his own, go for these plays in the mid-round, take opportunities. And as games get kind of deeper in, when it gets towards like that map 4, map 5 of a BO5, when you start to get tired, when more mistakes start to get made, that's when a guy like this that is so incredibly experienced in these big matches can really take over. And the question for me today is, how can Icy face up against that? Because this is his rookie year. This will be his first ever BO5.
Look, G2's outing against Leviatán did not go well on that occasion, and that Breeze map came up, which is often one that pits your duelists against each other. This was the first head-to-head between Icy and Aspas, and yeah, look, not the most flattering stat line here, but we've also seen Icy make some big strides in his own personal game since then.
For sure, right? This was obviously a one-sided match when you're going up against the best duelist player in the league, right? But Icy has improved so much, right? I think G2 have sort of shifted away from putting him on those solo Yoru options on a couple of maps, especially like that bind. And honestly, he has just been performing ever since playoffs. Week 5 too, I think he stepped up a bit as well.
Still, it's not Aspas, right? We cannot lie to you guys and 100%. Say that this is like a close matchup, because Aspas is just the best duelist player in the league. Icy is not a star in the same way. He's a great player, but I think he's a lot more a role player. He's flexing onto the Gecko. He's really playing, I think, super well into the system, and has had maps where he has taken over and had those moments, but hasn't had the same consistency and tenure of a player like Aspas. But they've also already qualified to Shanghai. The pressure's kind of off in the match.
Just
a lot of those criticisms have fallen away.
I mean,
he's feeling himself a little bit more. Like, this is the moment to really prove himself.
For sure, right? Because the previous matchup, this was a series-defining matchup,
absolutely,
right? Like, you couldn't
This was make or break
it.
for the season.
Yes, and now Icy has been able to perform at a level that is closer to it, that the rest of the team and the game plan of G2's can shine through, and they can overcome what is the best player in the league right now.
Yeah, and that's the big thing for me, right? Aspas is a person who will take over on his own and have those moments where it's just Aspas. Icy's a guy who fits into that game plan so well, and I think gives Valen so many options as an IGL.
I think like Valen's also incredible macro approach is very good at shutting down teams that leverage their stars a lot, or like, you know, overemphasize their.
They've shut down players like Kesnet, like Oxy. They're really good at kind of isolating and icing out these stars.
That's going to be something to keep an eye on here. We want to hear what Icy, though, thinks about this matchup, and he's standing by right now with Smix.
Good morning, Icy. Ahead of your lower bracket final today, just wanted to call out that G2 has been looking amazing and improving so much, making it all the way to that upper bracket final. Now, here in this lower bracket final, you're going to be re-facing Leviatán and Aspas. So how do you think it's going to go this time around?
I mean, I'm ready. I think it'll be a different game than the game 2 weeks ago against them. You know, we're feeling better, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Amazing. Best of luck today.
Why are we doing handshakes now?
Sue has a weak handshake. I need more business from her.
I think it was an unimposing handshake, personally. You know, like an unassuming one. It's like maybe you don't want to. Again, these guys' wrists are probably insured to some degree.
Show me how you do it. Give me a good handshake. Oh, ow! Stop! How? What the? Come on, man.
HR will hear about this. We'll move right along here. Tex, though, had a fantastic game yesterday. He was incredible, especially some of these individual situations, clutch moments in the mid-rounds. He's going up again against his former teammates. Can we drag out the narrative once more, folks? Can we pull out the Tex versus his teammate story once more?
I mean, you have to, right? Because this is a guy that playing with the G2 core of the Guard was able to win it all in Ascension. And now we're in a position where either him or 3 of his former teammates are going to be in the grand finals of the mid-season event. Right? Like, that is absolutely huge to see that progression of these players, bar none. But then on top of that, knowing that they are pitted against each other just makes it that much more juicier.
Yeah, and you heard it from his teammates as well. Last time was King was saying against G2, we're going to do it for Tex. We're going to beat them for Tex. It really adds that extra little bit to a match in terms of motivation to beat your friends, to beat your former teammates, but also adds a little more context, right? You've played with Valen for a long, long time. You know how this guy calls. You know your former teammates' tendencies. It really puts a little extra spice on any match.
And truthfully, the advantage there lies with Tex because, yeah, you know, Valen can know how the enemy Sentinel player likes to play their match, but really knowing how Valen likes to call is a way bigger advantage in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, what his systems are like and what it felt like to fit into that.
And even when things change, there's still like fundamental similarities and tendencies that you can't break.
Yeah, you can't. They're immutable, I think, after some point. Tex had a great showing against G2, but a lot of them were eco frags, right? There were a lot of rounds where I'm pretty sure his team was just like, go run, go get them, you know, like get as many as you can.
But you can, I mean, see this tweet from Valen too, like continuing that this is a friendly rivalry, saying that like, we'll get you next time, Ian, who's of course Tex, right? It goes both ways.
You know him like that?
I don't know him like that, but Valen knows him like that. And it's also motivation for G2 to come back and win this one after losing that group stage match to the guy who went off to Lev.
And we don't, we've had differing sort of, I guess, reports about how the departure for Tex went, but it definitely seems like there's friendly rivalry. But I noticed that Tex didn't want to play up this storyline. It was King that was like, oh, no, we're doing this for Tex. He's like, oh,
I love that as a teammate, right? That even if it is a small thing, you're just bringing up the energy, bringing up that motivation to win. I think that's sick.
I mean, if you think about it too, it was yesterday King having to beat some of his friends, former teammates over on Crew.
And Tex said he was doing it for him.
Exactly. And now today it's Tex's turn, so it goes all the way around. Hey, if they make it tomorrow.
It's just ghosts of their past. Who's tomorrow?
Tomorrow, it's Calm versus Boostio. It doesn't get any better than that.
It is like a cascade of, it's like the Grim Reaper with the doors in the hallway. Yeah. God help me. All right, so
all their friends are behind the doors. It's not okay, man.
Ghosts of them. It's just representations of them. You know, it's just ectoplasm. But I'm curious to hear how Tex himself actually feels about today's matchup. So let's hear from him with Smix once more.
Good morning, Tex. Today you're going to be facing your former team, and last time around it was a victory for your side, 2-1. When I spoke to them earlier today, they mentioned that they think it's going to be a very different game this time around, so what do you have to say to that?
I think it'll be more exciting. It's playoffs now, so the pressure will be on them, and I'm happy to see how they do.
Sounds good. Best of luck today.
Okay, always understated. That's Tex for you, but he's definitely, of course, looking forward to the opportunity to be in our mid-season playoffs grand finals. But let's move across the aisle. Let's talk about G2, because they eliminated Cloud9, who were looking extremely promising, and sent Crew packing to the lower bracket, who were then dealt with by Leviatán. But this team couldn't take on 100 Thieves, even though this bind showing from G2 was spectacular.
Yeah, I think they had a really good game plan playing up against 100 Thieves. The 100 Thieves comp is built around these defensive flood retakes and mid-round reclears with the double initiator utility coming in. G2 did a really good job of calling pauses in the mid-round once they started this site hit to actually take the time, have a player set up an anti-flash, break both those pieces of utility, and then continue that brawl. And with the players, the form that they're currently in, they were winning that really consistently. So you have to credit Valen for taking that over the line, beating 100 Thieves on their best map, but it went over to Split, and then the ties changed a little.
But they were the only team to be able to beat 100 Thieves over on Bind, which is massive. And I think so much of that comes down to the prep they're able to do to Valen as well, leading the charge here, because when you have not just beating 100 Thieves on that Bind map, but also the series against Crew, when they just absolutely spank Crew on Icebox by playing this heavy flood style, not allowing, again, the strengths of that comp they were playing against to shine. So much of their game plan is built around what their opponents want to do, and that's why they're so lethal, especially coming into a second showing against this Lev team.
However,
that's why they lost to 100 Thieves, though. 100 Thieves were not playing that early proactivity, like on purpose. They were giving up the map, not only on Ascent, but the whole series, right?
I don't walk away with that feeling as negative about G2. I think they had the right read, but 100 Thieves honestly changing that up, going for the less proactive stuff, adapting from their bind loss. The question today, because I have a lot of faith in G2 having good game plans, it's in a BO5. There's a lot more maps. There's a lot more kind of moments you have to prep for. And also, as we get deeper into today, I think it's going to be a lot more reliant on like individual players stepping up, on how you adapt once things get messy. That's always the case in these
Can you adapt this Valen Mastermind game? Like, are you maneuverable enough to pivot off of these game plans you come into the series with?
I think you are, because even if you look at how G2 were playing in Kickoff, this was a team that on defense loved to play heavy retake. They would full back off sites, play heavy numbers retakes, 4 or 5 players alive. But ever since the switch, bringing Icy in, and importantly, putting Leaf over onto the Sentinel role, this team plays a lot more aggressively on defense. So on their weak side, where Leaf is often, he is still looking to play for kills and give them that added flexibility that is not just so one-note.
You brought it up. We talked about it. What is different here with a best of 5 as opposed to a best of 3? Because you talked about it, like, you know, G2 and Leviatán last time they played, there was a spooky breeze that was in the map pool. Now we have 5 maps to play. Does that affect a team with, like, the slightly weaker map pool overall? Like, what are the other big differences here?
I think it's really, like we've been talking about, it becomes a question about adapting within the series, and also a big question about the mental. There's going to be maps where you're not as prepped for, where you're at a big disadvantage in, because it's just really tough to have a super solid 5-map pool and have good prep. You're almost never going to be winning a 3-0.
You're going to have some like throwaway maps in here, you think?
It's possible, and I think it's always about kind of how you recover back from those moments and how the team sticks around. Both these teams have proven to have that, and have also had experience in BO5s. The G2 core has played a lot of them. That Ascension game went the distance. Leviatán as well. The individual players have, but that team as a core haven't yet. So that is going to be something a little bit new.
I would say, though, that when I look at these two teams, I do favor Lev over a longer day, right, in a best of 5, because I think that this team is highly adaptable round to round. It's a team that's less, I think, reliant on their initial game plan coming in and so much more about freeing up where can Ospas find those openings. He's always looking for the weaknesses in the armor of the team he's playing against and taking advantage. G2 come in with very strong reads. So I think on the maps, like, there's going to be very important maps, some must-win maps.
These timeouts are going to matter a lot for Leviatán then.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, our coaches are standing by for our map picks, so let's listen in and see what this series is going to look like.
Alrighty, guys, welcome. As you know, G2, you will have higher seed going into this. Would you like Team A or Team B?
Team A.
G2 will pick Team A. Lev, you will be Team B. G2, you will have first map ban.
We'll ban Sunset.
G2 ban Sunset. And
we ban.
What would you like to ban?
We ban Split.
Lev ban Split. And G2, you'll have first map pick.
We'll pick Bind.
G2 pick Bind. And would you like attack or defense?
Attack.
Lev pick attack. And what map would you like?
Breeze.
Lev pick Breeze. And would you like attack or defense?
Defense.
G2 pick defense. And you'll have another map pick.
We'll pick Icebox.
G2 pick Icebox. And would you like attack or defense?
Attack.
Lev pick attack. And you have another map pick.
Lotus.
Lev pick Lotus. And would you like attack or defense?
Attack.
G2 pick attack. Alright guys, the side map is going to be Ascent, and Lev, you will have side select for it.
Defense.
Lev pick defense. Alright boys, best of luck today.
I don't know about you guys, but Icebox and Lotus coming up at picks 3 and 4 are the most compelling to me, because Bind and Breeze seem like these teams like pocket picks in a way, ones that their opponents don't really have as much game time on.
I honestly expect this one to go 5 maps. I think that Bind and Icebox have both been strongholds for G2, where I've been really confident in their game planning, in how the players are stepping up on those maps, which means we're likely to get Ascent, in which case I think that just in terms of the players on the team setting up Ospas and also the previous results, Leviatán is super favored.
Yeah, I'm for sure expecting Lev on Breeze and Icebox. I think the must-wins for G2, that's funny. Good job, Bren, keeping it down. Wait, what is that?
Is that you?
That is me. Why am I
That's
a child?
That's a pretty current picture, right?
So the photo they took of me yesterday was from 4 years ago, and that was, I think, from like 20 years ago. So
yeah, but that's
anyways,
what you look like now.
My vote is Leviatán, and I think G2 absolutely must win Bind and Icebox. Their Icebox has been looking good. Lev's hasn't, but that's one that I do think still could go Lev's way and would skew this series completely into
I wouldn't want to trust a child, but I do agree that Lev's pretty favored here.
I can't believe I just got done like
There's
that.
something trustworthy about, you can trust kids. They're guileless, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that actually makes you far more relatable, personally. I think that's great. All right, you've seen our predictions. Everybody has their idea of who's going to take this away, but it's time for us to just get this best-of-5 series underway. The winner's going to run it back and face 100 Thieves in the grand final tomorrow. It's G2 versus Leviatán. VCT Americas starts right now.
Still into the post plant we go. Valin doesn't set his sights towards a player.
Turns the flash. Gun advantage, health advantage. And of course he falls. The mind game's being played and the shots come through for Aspas.
Playing my boys G2 again. I love those guys. There's no one I'd rather play, to be honest. I think it's going to be fun.
I think everyone's surprised Lev is in the lowers. They look really hot going into playoffs, and they're still a really great team. I just think Aspas is going to take that loss personal, and he's just going to pop off. Just got to keep an eye out for Aspas, tapping our heads and stuff.
Closing in. Mazzino will fall. Oh, wait. Aspas. Gun advantage, health advantage. And the shots come through for Aspas.
I wouldn't say you have to be really scared of anyone individually on that team. No offense to my boys. But they play really, really well as a team. Just got to watch out for their teamwork, really.
Trent really with nowhere to run, but he at least gets across the fire. So need to land these shots, and land them they will, G2. Finding the marks.
I think they should be scared of us because we have a lot of players in form right now. I have the best duelist in the world. We got the best Sentinel in the world, so you know what I mean?
Kesnet will join him as Tex lights up the kill feed once more!
We're just fired up, so they should be scared.
Riot Games Arena, welcome everyone to the mid-season playoffs lower bracket final. Make some noise for our two teams to welcome on stage. It is G2 Esports and Leviatán! Our first player, Icy. Aspas. Leaf. Tex. Valin! King! Trent! Calm! Jonah P! Mazzino! And our coaches, Josh RT! And last but not least, Coach Goket!
Both of these teams have now secured themselves their first international appearances since 2022, but the focus now turns inward. It turns domestic. The fight to win it out here in Americas at the top team after stage 1.
It would be absolutely insane, especially considering 4 of the players on this stage won Ascension last year. They had to fight for their right to compete in this league, and now they're fighting for their right to compete to be the best in this league.
But Tex jumps ship. He's off to a new team. This Leviatán squad was always hammered as the super team, the squad expected to dominate in Americas. And they've had a run back. They've been good through the playoffs. But now in this lower bracket, they have to prove themselves in back-to-back BO5s if they want that title heading into the global event.
Kickoff saw neither of these teams look particularly convincing, both middling. We were uncertain. And even the way that stage 1 began for both of these rosters, I mean, Leviatán fell to Cloud9, a chaotic game that didn't show their strengths. G2 also had a relatively slow start, but as the weeks went on, and that Super Week, that's when these two teams kicked into gear.
G2 is the team who is always surprised. A lot of people didn't think that this core would win Ascension against M80, against the other top squads in that event. Then they come into Americas. They look bad to start. People don't think they're going to make playoffs, don't think they're going to contend, but they've beaten through all of that and now have a chance to make their first finals in the Tier 1 in years.
Role swapping one of the best duelist players over to Sentinel in Leaf, bringing in Icy from the EG reserve bench to come play as a starter on this team. And now they're top 3, maybe?
But now up against the best duelist player in the league. Facing Ospas is always going to be tough. He destroyed them when they played in week 3, but this team has leveled up since then and have 5 maps to try and change that score.
This is going to be a series that will expose every aspect of someone like Icy's game, though. Aspas will be looking for every opportunity to get one over on him and start to lean in to that dominance at the duelist position.
We have a matchup now with Ospas, one of the most unpredictable players, alongside one of the most unpredictable teams when it comes to how they want to play out their rounds, versus G2, a team coming in with heavy prep, the only team to take Bind away from 100 Thieves. They are going to be challenged today to find answers both to the Lev game plan and also to Ospas.
They've thrived in this week-by-week format where they have a lot of time to game plan, when Josh and Valen can take those moments to come up with the best counter. But now this is game after game, playing day after day, and it's a very different match. We're in Agent Select for Bind, and it's Icy locking in the raise. This is a chance to start against Ospas, who has proven to be so talented on that agent.
It's a great first map for G2 to start on here, coming out hot off that victory just yesterday. Again, looking at some of those tempo changes within the round, they were also showing a lot of flank looks on defense, trying to disrupt the post plants by wrapping around on their opposition. These are all things that Lev will have now watched, right? They had to play their series and then go watch VODs all night to get ready for this.
I think they also did a great job in particular dismantling the Gecko combos that 100 Thieves runs. It's a very similar comp, the Sky instead of the Fade over on the side of Leviatán. But they're also looking to play for a lot of these Flood retakes, a lot of these like proactive extremity control looks when they're on defense. And I think G2 have proved really solid ideas of how they play this map. Valen in particular, who you see on that brim, his mid-rounding has been excellent on this attack side. I think it's the map where I've been the most impressed with him.
Leviatán on Bind, we haven't seen much of them at all. I mean, they did slam NRG the start of stage 1 on this map, 13-4, but they went up against 100 Thieves and they fell much the same way that many of 100 Thieves victims had. They got 3 rounds against them on this map. And as you mentioned, they're going up against the team who is able to concoct a strategy to bring that team down on Bind. I can't feel like they're favored here.
You can't, but there's the question of how much work have they actually been putting into this map, right? When you come into best of 5s, there's a lot of unknowns.
This is a best of 5, like you said, and so get some snacks, folks, and settle in for the long haul. Here's Brennan's Sideshow with map number 1.
Let's get this game started here in the lower bracket finals of our mid-season playoffs here in the Americas, Josh. And this is a one, where I'm kind of just trying to get a feeler, I suppose, of the expectations for both of these teams and the series overall. What are we expecting from them? It's a best of 5, of course. It's a bit of a marathon test for both of these teams, just regarding the map pool alone, right? Because you're really being stretched and pushed and tested in ways that these teams, arguably, they haven't been before.
Yeah, and on one side, you have a super team, a team that was built at the beginning of the year to win international tournaments, never mind attend them. And on the other side, you have our team in Americas coming through Ascension. So you would think that there's a large, heavy favorite here. But at the same time, despite the fact that it was only you, Bren, that believed in G2 out of our people here on the broadcast team, I think G2 have got a good shot here because their permaban is Sunset, which is one of Leviatan's best maps. And maps like this one on Bind, Lev have said they have an incredible map here. But actually, the match results favor G2, and we'll see them go into the pistol with a 4-player stack on A.
It's G2 who are the ones who put up the big results. Now they're going to be tested once more in some way or form, running forwards and past Aspas. Vulnerable up just from the snake bite, and it's cut up the sight. Right through the middle, Jonah P just seeking to take away names and filling up the feed entirely with his name.
One enemy remaining.
Leaf there using that same Viper orb, actually, that caused NRG so many problems against Leviatán. King left with the Viper on the other side. Spike, irretrievable 5-player stack in front of him. Not the start that Leviatán were looking for, but G2 will take it. Another one of Valen's excellent reads when it comes down to rounds like this. We saw in that game against 100 Thieves so many times that he had a fantastic read of what was going on in the game. Yes, they weren't able to pull it over the line in the end, but I think he showcased that his calling is plenty good enough for the tier 1 level.
Yeah, it's been going strength to strength. Another big major test in the form of Leviatán, right? I mean, when they go up against Cloud9 and Crew, you could argue that, you know, they could sort of match the same blueprint that they used to beat those teams, both of them, trying to bait the star players in, take good fights together, make sure the discipline was on display. And for 100 Thieves, they're almost entirely in the opposite direction. Like, don't get me wrong, they've got hitters, but it's the team play that carries that team in the execs, right? The real well-drilled stratch. For Lev, they're a bit of a mix of the two teams. I find, you know, you've got Aspas, this superstar player that they are going to have to keep in mind. But Lev are also pretty good in terms of just making sure that they don't leave any big gaps in their play. Now, the game plan for Lev here on the eco is to just try and farm up some of those orbs, but the Outlaw just making short work of these Leviatán players. Good connection there with the dog, the mosh pit. From also just peeking wide out into the open.
That's so nice from Trent as well. Great angle through the wall there with his mosh. Think about things when the sides are flipped. G2, last time we saw them on Bind, with their win over 100 Thieves, they were putting heavy emphasis on Shower's control themselves. Now you see them on the defense side looking to try to counter that. Double fighting Showers, which is a very common approach for teams. It's just one that 100 Thieves don't normally go for. And then sending that Trailblazer through the teleport in order to go for the refight. Outlaw still on board, but no light armor for Leviatán. So coming into this one, a bonus round for G2. Lev have got a very large rifle advantage.
They do, but less utility to their name just because they're forced to use the half armor. Now they know that the Outlaw's on the board.
Yeah, what are they missing? A flash on Tom, a boombot from Aspas?
Yeah, pretty big tools, but we'll see if it makes a difference.
And another 4-player stack from G2. This is looking like a read. G2 have not had very much time to... I mean, neither of these teams have had very much time to prep for this game. But they are aware of their opponents. They've played them before.
Desk was mentioning that, right? Just lack of time to really prep, going day in, day out, playing the matches back-to-back. Trailblazer will clear the way and a path for Aspas.
Yeah, so it lets them know that they're not double fighting over Octagon and B-Long control, but it actually didn't tell them the site was completely empty. Obviously, from our perspective, we can see it's only Valen home on the B site. But he's not calling the rotates based off that. He's sticking to his gut. May end up being the wrong call, though, because it looks like Lev are about to explode from hookah.
Yeah, as soon as the wall goes down, it's going to give them the indicator. Just send it all the way forwards. Will be an easy plant.
And to be honest with you, this should be an easy round. Be on Bind, very difficult. It's all about this hookah fight.
Oh, and the crossfire setup. Slightest of off angles, enough to really just spell, dissuade any other attempt here by G2. Of course, the weaker weaponry, they are going to want to send it. But at this point, just playing retakes into the B site, it's basically an impossibility.
It would be good at least to do some damage here. We've got Jonah kind of backing off, like really, really far away on the other side of the map. Is he trying to save the Bulldog in this spot? Or is he just looking for exits over towards B-Long? He does have a little bit of time.
Might be able to catch some players over towards the B-Long angle, but yeah, final go of things here for the G2 players.
Yeah, to be honest, that's almost worse of both worlds. You don't get an opportunity really to send it on the retake and do damage.
Oh, guns to be claimed.
All right, there's
plenty
the
of them.
damage.
Plenty of them. Jonah P even surviving until the tail end of the moment, although probably would have been okay with going down as well.
All right, so fair enough there. That round-the-world play from Jonah P does actually end up with some success towards the end of things. But Leviatán, that one was a little bit of a weird round for them because G2 gambled so heavily on their defense side. But, Brent, speaking about gambling super heavy once more, we have the same 4-1 stack on the defense side, just the other way around. And the economy is actually fairly equal. You would not expect this kind of setup. Valen's starting to drift over towards A. It looks like Valen was expecting a fast B rush, and now that it doesn't come through, goes back into more of a standard setup.
Dizzy over the top, Trailblazer forwards. They've already taken lamp control with a mosh pit. Aspas, he's eager now to draw some blood. There's one player left to stand his ground. It's Val in the IGL.
That's so good. He's playing anti-flash inside their own smoke.
Backbone of this team, and they've waded right into the nest that is Leaf. Already set up towards the hookah angle. Tex got the spike in his back pocket, but the position recognized there to see he can point them towards it, and G2 feel it from Valen's positioning there, just backing away to double face. 3-1 now in terms of that round differential.
Ludicrously good play by Valen. To say that that was plan B. Remember, they stacked 4 players B at the start of the round, thinking that Lev were going to send a fast hit in that direction. So they weren't set up as the perfect A defense.
Yeah.
But to still anticipate a backside flash there, be playing inside the smoke towards spawn, and be able to pick up 2 with a spray transfer, that's lovely. Really is. It's going to knock the economy of Lev early on. And you heard the desk talk about it. Last time we saw Lev, only able to pick up a mere handful of rounds in their game against 100 Thieves. So we are expecting G2 to be, I mean, in my opinion, fairly heavily favored to make a good beginning in this series. And it's on Lev to prove that wrong.
Again, Valen, well, had to hold his own there. Alone in through the lamps angle. Guardian made sure work through the wall, so I see. He's looking to lock down Showers as well. If he holds on to control of this one while the plant goes down now for Lev. Any sort of denial, the nade rebounds. I mean, that is wild. Unfortunate as well to a degree. Maybe not enough to actually even prevent the plan, but still going for the stray shot, hearing and knowing, expecting Aspas onto that spot. Trying to P. Is alone here, waiting for the thrash now to see if he can take the fight forwards into Lamps. Connection, detainment needs to be covered and defended. King does his job and does it well. Icy just trying to aim towards the back of these players, looking away from him, and a call is made by Lev. They want to refight this one. Straight into Lamps, doubled up now. And what is the call here with Leaf? Already just picking them apart from behind, but one player to stand, it's Trent. And time is against them. With the molly onto the spike, there was no chances there.
Just as we're singing the praises of G2, Leviatán answer back. On a thrifty round of all things, Aspas opening it up. With the team not exploding down short, but just contacting behind King's utility. And then that pressure onto the plant getting messed up by IC didn't really find very much value from the Outlaw. That all ended up being a little awkward for G2. One of the things that we've noticed this team is excellent at, what has defined them in their run through the playoffs, is their ability to play tight together.
Yeah.
There was only one player re-pushing Lamps off the back of the Thrash. Icy wasn't because he had the Outlaw. Leaf was on the flank. It felt disjointed to me. The timing did not feel like it was going to grant them success. So we've got a fairly even game, and G2 taking quite an early tag time out here after only 5 rounds.
I don't really know what there is to read in terms of the tactics of this one, but G2 are a team that, you know, they like to do their homework, they like to do the preparation into their opponents, and you make the argument, I mean, how much can you actually counter-strat an anti when you've only been given a day? Chances are not too much. But it's clear that G2 do have their own reads just from how they've been playing early on. I mean, a lot of those 4-1 defaults that you were pointing out on the defense, that's unusual, right? You don't want to be spreading out your players to that degree to make one side so much more weaker unless you've got a real heavy read, and it hasn't been paying off for them.
One of the other things that you can use those 4-1 defensive setups for is that you're probably going to end up playing retake when your opponents have heavy ultimates anyway. For example, now that Tex has the Thrash, you either have to fight it before he gets in position, which is what they're about to do towards Sand, or you give it up.
It's going to be this clash occurring.
They know that he's going to be thrashing from Sand. It's the most common position for the Gecko ult.
And he's going to be alone when he's doing it still. He's just holding it with the rifle in play. Tex, he just bats them away. Eventually traded, but seriously, the damage is done. Seekers have to be offloaded here just to try and clear out a path into the side. Aspas with a lovely movement, but just can't quite land those shots towards it still. Impeccable with the flash into the back. Trent That's monstrous from him. Just exits out of it and even expects where King is going to be lurking his way back into the fight, and the fray, but the movement does him justice. With King surviving, he brings it into the 1v1. He just doesn't know where Icy is.
And he's worried that Icy might be on top of the spike already. King re-clearing, you know, fully thinking that it's possible even that this fountain area could be compromised. Does Icy have eyes on the spike? Did he go for that deep peek over towards and spot out that it was there? He must know that it got dropped. But it doesn't look like he wants to really take the fight.
No.
He's certainly does not know that that spike is still down. He's wondering about King.
He's so worried.
30 seconds left.
We're at the 50 seconds mark when, you know, King got it down into this 1v1 now. And the more the time just gets bled off the clock, nerves settling in at the back of Icy's mind.
But Icy's got such great utility for this as well. When King goes for plant, Icy can try to nade. The time is weak. He's got Boombot to allow himself to get back in as well. The nade could just deny this.
Yeah, but I don't think Icy knows he's planting there. He's holding, spotted, King. Look at the draw with surviving now on a slight jump spot. Still the Boombot in his hands. Util spotting him now. Flying forwards and careening, but the rifles are going to have to do the job with the Satchel to set it up. Icy. It's beautiful play.
The util usage was good in the end there. I was a little concerned. The swing, it took him a couple of aim resets to be able to get the King kill onto King. Almost offered the IGL of Lev a chance to get back into that one. But good work from the duelist of G2 closing things up. Lest we forget though, that was Trent that really turned around. This play to try to deny the Thrash from finding its value, Tex does a great job at dispelling. And then the Gecko on the other side of things pulls out magic.
Oh, yeah.
That spray transfer. Lovely stuff.
Little two-piece.
And it was Trent that saved G2 in the game on Bind against 100 Thieves as well. They won, but on their defense side, Trent pulled out magic for them late in the half.
Maybe that's the key to victory for a team like G2. A little bit of those hero plays, individuals stepping up. Thrash now finally being utilized. Clears the way through, eventually broken, was vulnerable in the process. Now Aspas does have a showstopper available in his back pocket. Now going to be choosing to send it. Eventually plucked out of the sky, but he does go 1-for-1 with the mosh pit following through. There's no attempt of a flood. He's shut down in a moment with the orbital strike. Backing away, I see this fuse running out, running dry, has to send it. Flying towards the back wall, but it's just making a bit of a racket. Not touch more beyond it. Okay, the rifle still. Valen creeping his way forwards into the 1v1, but he doesn't expect it. Reposition of Mazzino. Catching it from the side, but a decent go of things still from the IGL.
A nice try by Valen, but it's a Smokes player on the other side that gets the job done. Not only winning the 1v1, but also getting that orbital strike to deny Icy's showstopper. G2's method of defending B has been to pop through the teleport. This great shot to make things possible for G2. But when Icy's ult gets denied, that's G2's setup kind of broken. What they're going for, you can see on the defense here, is short control and then pushing through the teleporter to try to backstab those hookah players and reinforce the B defense. But it's getting shut down.
Yeah, it's a cheeky play, but it's almost expected, really. Lever just looking at the money. They know they're on a half buy, but it's still not resulting. King being ready enough for that. The rifle cannot be regained. G2 aren't even going for it. They're looking for a bit of re-exploration out towards showers.
The contact re-clear
without putting the wall up, so you don't expect it. Valen is not thinking about this timing because the wall is down.
Still holding the util. Spots it at a jump and, well, pays for it with his life.
I mean, that is true contacting.
Real no indicator whatsoever. Aspas, he's gliding. It's graceful arc as well, and he really has made sure that that disadvantage right at the beginning is offset nicely.
Here comes Jonah P on the flank, possibly too late.
Here. You got to expect it here with these weapons. I mean, Mazzino's already wrapping all the way around. I know that Icy's here. If Aspas didn't deal with him, backup plan would have the form of Mazzino. Mosh pit, Leaf. Just hoping that they just try and take away, potentially hunting for some eco kills.
I mean, surely Mosh is gelatinous. He should be slipping through those vents. Shouldn't be lingering on the floor. Jonah P's position, though, very reminiscent of what Leaf went for early on. I think probably something like round 3 or 4, where he was going for that flank retake setup.
Yeah.
But the problem is that while G2 is still being able to find the timings to push out on defense from B, they're so late that they've lost A, and the retake timings are too late anyway. So both round 3 and round 8, somebody from G2 on the defense side has pushed out B. They've just been too late to short. What a beautiful call, though. That's a fantastic call by King, or possibly Com on the side of Lev, to go for that pure contact reclear of short.
Yeah. It's a nice audible.
Yeah, knowing that after you fight over it with the eco early round, they're not likely to still be set up there. And we see Trent doing that kind of ping-pong setup in spawn. He's just going to follow the noise.
Scout destroyed.
Dog showers pulls him towards A, but we can see the main body of Lev actually trending towards B, and Trent's going to get his steps in here. Just kind of jogging from side to side.
Go get him.
Trying to be wherever the action might be. With Aspas making all this noise as well. Slight feeling mosh pit. That's going to be sent straight. Clearing a little bit. Maybe a miss. I'm not too sure, but it will clear the corner.
That's the lineup that they go for.
Nade as well. Aspas straight in there. I mean, this guy's like a rocket. Sending himself flying over the strike. It's going to be used to try and push them back. And at least Mazzino does actually go down to it somehow. Pit, though, has to be dropped here by King. Choking out this potential play here, but with Com on the lurk as well. Always be flanking, rolling back the years. Trying to put a dagger in the back of these players. Now the Pit is going to be cutting off that sightline and angle.
And they've actually gone all the way through elbow, so Com's flank is just going to reconnect with King, and they'll shake hands in the Pit and reunite to play postman together.
Wondering where these players are going to be, but surely options limited. You got to know that they've contacted through with a Dizzy and a flash. So all combined, a double flash play. They know where the last is. Valin can overcome that one.
I like these moments that Lev find to force the fight. Even though in theory, you could just hold there and play inside the Pit. But what they do really nicely, and one of the big reasons they got past Crew to this point, to Shanghai, is because they find moments of calm to suddenly double flash and fight you. Drop a Viper wall, take contact. They're not afraid to brawl at times, and I think that's a big strength of Lev.
Need real clear communication, I think, as well, to pull stuff like that off just in the moment.
Now remember, our expectations for this map were that G2 were probably going to be the favored team, partly by using 100 Thieves as a measuring stick. But it could well be that G2's success there was based more on anteing than being incredible on this map, or perhaps we're just underrating the way that Lev are playing based on some poor results prior. Because they're looking to get themselves up to a fairly nice advantage here on their attack side.
That's visceral. The dog just flying towards your face here, regaining control towards B long, and again the call to just contact up. This time though, there's no weapons in place. In charge, so Jonah P moving toward them. Kind of a gliding play here by Aspas, seeking to relink up with the rest of his team in a nade. Rebounding ICs, forced out wide. Into the sightline there of Aspas, dropping the player. 2 left now with another heavy flank occurring by Trent.
Another heavy flank, but another late flank as well. Look at the timing of this. It's not early in the round. Tex is already for sure thinking about it. And the flanker, once more, is the last player alive before they're even in position. The timing is off in these kind of plays. I think it's much easier to get a read on a team like 100 Thieves because they tend to be much more all-in on one side of the map. Yeah. Lev are actually disguising some of the places that they're going, throwing utility on the opposite sides of the map.
You know, it was just that round we just watched, right? They take Charlotte's control, but they move over towards the other side.
Exactly. And those kind of things are making it more difficult for G2 to get the read on where they're ending. Also throwing in the more contacting play around the map too. So I think Valin here is finding it more difficult to figure out where Lev are ending, and that's making these defensive pushes less useful. You got to throw it in.
Back to me.
Yeah, just look how spread out Lev are with the attack side calling. Slight default, make some noise over towards B.
But this time they actually haven't pushed Leaf off the B long angle, and that flash from Jonah P, they know it's not B. So this time G2 should have the read. This is ending A. They should be able to get 4 players there in time.
Pop flash to clear through. Orb's still up though. Thrash is going to be used. It's going to slow them all the way down. Attainment onto the 2 targets here. In through the choke point. Not overextending themselves. G2 make sure they play with a little bit more discipline here because they are aware, at least of the fact Aspas still holding on to the showstopper. Trailblazer used to clear through.
Any pivot through the teleporter is going to be cleaned up by Leaf, potentially. But Lev are getting back over towards B.
They're pinging B long.
Yeah, because they're worried that people could be pushed. You know, they're clearing positions where defenders could be tucked.
And Aspas not able to remove the last one as well. Just hears it just moving past, and that is a pretty massive play, and it's caused the rotation. Look at that, Jonah P makes his way over towards B.
It's not bad aim, by the way. Those are invisible if they are attacking your teammate.
Yeah, it just looks like he's moving, but not the case. However, luck of the draw for G2. They might have just found themselves, at least with 2 players onto the right side. So making its way forwards with only 12 seconds left. Pop flash through and around. Time is working against them again. Aspas is initiating Factor. This guy is now finally being shut down. And with barely any time left available, Com just can't get it done. There's no easy fight for him to take. So G2 realized that one, backing away, winning the round out just through that time.
And what is the difference in this round? It's the fact that the G2 players on B could clear out and get good negative info. With Leaf jiggle peeking over towards B long, he kind of egoed Com's utility and realized there's no follow-up here. It's definitely not coming B. And then the fact that Jonah P also got the flash towards Sand and didn't hear anything. They knew it was going to be an A hit. They read the rotate back over towards B. Once G2 have an understanding of the macro game, their teamwork is enough to get them over the line. This time, though, going for a gamble, they've misread the situation, but they always have the opportunity to pop through the teleport. And Icy can get the showstopper online here to make this really annoying for the Showers players.
This could be hella risky, though. They don't actually have prior Showers control, but it looks like they want to send in Trailblazer forwards right from behind as well. Rockets for a rocket exchange of that firepower. But it's Icy who's the one who does come up with the kill. Maybe a little bit more, and his flash is in play. King, they know he's there. The Dizzy already isolated that position, just firing off that stray shot. Mazzino! Mazzino! What is that? From the brink. A chance to salvage the round. He's got here in Icy's position. He's got the orbital strike. Shut down. Oh, clip to the back of the head there by Valen.
That is the tiniest of a pixel angle that Valen just hit. And if he didn't secure that, Mazzino has ult online in a 1v1 where Valen's only 30 health. Outrageous from both Brim players. Mazzino, of course, doing the most to make that winnable. But Valen had a very slim chance there of making it easy for himself. Otherwise, it would have been a nightmare 1v1 to win.
Yeah. Mazzino just tucked himself over.
Look at that!
Is ridiculous.
Look at this is what I'm talking about.
That is ridiculous.
Look at that.
If he doesn't hit that, Mazzino just, plays time, ring around the rosy. He's got the ult. Way harder to win for Valen. That is a nasty shot to make it 6-6.
This is a BO5 and our first map 6-6 in the half. That is sick.
Absolutely insane stuff. Well, let's hear from Tex. We got his thoughts and what his feelings facing off against a very familiar opponent.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you have to be really scared of anyone individually on that team. No offense to my boys. But they play really, really well as a team. It's not one guy peeking you, it's 3 guys peeking you. And they do have some individual shooters, I'm not gonna lie. I think Leaf, Trent, Valen especially, Jonah. Honestly, all of them, they're all insane. So just gotta watch out for their teamwork, really.
And I think that is the identity that we've seen of G2 throughout their run in the playoffs. They're trying to shut down star players. Has it been King to come alive? Has it been Aspas to carry Leviatán? I don't think so. Instead, what it's been is a battle of the macro games so far in the first 12 rounds. Now, that could all change. And certainly as we head on to future maps like Breeze, which lean more into the individuality, sure, then we can start talking about how well G2 are shutting down, the Aspas entries, etc. He's top fragging at the moment, Aspas. Of course he is. When does he not? But at the same time, I don't feel like he's the main win condition for how Lev played that attack side.
All about how the map was being worked and the ideas that these IGLs are throwing into the mix as well, the mid-rounding from the rest of his team. We know, for Lev as well, it's the whole team actually does a lot of audible calling.
They do,
their feelings about, I've got a bit of a read, trust me on this, with the setups.
Yeah, I would say Com is extremely vocal in the communications for this squad. Tons of mid-rounding, and King was giving him credit as well when we were talking to him in a recent interview. But the whole team's got nice ideas about what they want to go for, and as we head into the next half, G2's attack side coming up.
Now, G2, when we saw them play against 100 Thieves, were exploiting a hole over towards Showers. Now, Lev don't often have the same hole towards Showers. They're quite happy to play it, and a very common pistol round setup is to have two players instant double swing and try to contest this. So we'll see if that's what Leviatán are going for. Certainly, Aspas with Sheriff in hand, you would think, has a good chance of being able to take out Valen if indeed they were to take the fight.
Just a short control, though. Looks like a late re-clear of Showers, if that is even on the cards. After the TP, double play here. Lev seeking to crunch. And the G2 playing this far back. I mean, they actually do get that opening kill as well with King dropped. Plant down. Into the post we go. Maybe now the call to get that re-clear. Late going. Wingman will start to defuse, at least with the process, and a Dizzy in play, in process. Tech's already getting this. How about a defuse? Looking to break this one. Wingman finally dealt with. But Lev winning out these fights, potentially not quite. Com. It's going to be the last one left in a 1v3. Now, there has been a decent amount of damage, but it comes out of hitting it. It's a little bit precarious and tenuous. Still, time has been bought for him. All that work done. Off on the round and a bound! That is absurd. A shot to the brain of Valen. Only the wall saving him, but he doesn't land it. And still panic. Now beginning to settle. Has he bought enough?
I don't think he's got
It's
time.
so damn narrow!
On a nice edge there. Somehow Valen with the composure and Com not quite hitting enough after that sick headshot. A great try from Com in the 1v3, but not quite there. G2 take the pistol and go up 7-6. Look at that. The like fadeaway headshot onto Valen dropped him down so weak. And yet he couldn't quite finish the kill in time. So yeah, Lev contested Showers there at the very beginning of the round and then decided to pile people through the teleport. That might be because they're expecting G2 on their attack side to still focus Showers.
What a face.
Yeah, Mazzino and Com are not going to get anything about that.
We're going to need some clear game plans, I think, as well, just to prevent these ults starting to get farmed up.
I mean,
flowing forwards.
It's too late. Trent already has his thrash. Assuming that this plant goes down, which is almost impossible to stop.
Right there.
Trent's going to have thrash for the next round in the bonus, and that's massively important. Lev almost already need to start thinking, like, give up on this round and start thinking about, are you going to be playing proactive in round 15? How are you going to stop this thrash from just taking the space it needs and taking a site? You've got a little lurk play here from Leaf, who can afford to go for this kind of thing because he only has the pistol. He's not going to give a weapon away.
No. Probably going down to the spike for the Lev players, catching Leaf on that flank.
Yeah, and
shouldn't be any more danger.
And there's no worry of building up ults on the side of Lev or anything like that either, so G2 are in a great position here. Again, the game plan for G2 in the next round is quite simple. On the other side, though, for Lev, stopping a thrash from getting value can be really tricky. For starters, you don't even know where they're going around the map.
Yeah, that's the trouble, right?
But the most common play to go for would be to do it somewhere around hookah. So if you were gonna make some kind of setup, perhaps you could organize a sand crunch, take short control at the beginning of the round in case he's looking to thrash from there, pop through the teleporter and crunch if indeed they go for that hookah play. Lev, though, looking for the 4-player stack on the A site.
Watch and learn. It's an overwhelming amount of utility they've got, and they could choose to crunch through sand if they hear it coming.
Well, I don't think they really can because they're giving up a lot of short control.
Or at least send through a bit of that util. We've seen teams try and cancel it with snake bites and nades.
I mean, to be honest, the game plan here for Leviatán just seems like gamble A and play full B retake. But again, this is the most common position, I would say, to go for a thrash. And here it comes. Yeah. Very standard game plan from G2, and Lev not able to be in a position to disrupt, but King still somehow finds the opener.
Okay, well,
and they're going to pop through the teleport here.
They're trying to refight this one, yeah. The call's being made now. Putting the squeeze onto these G2 players. Plan for Valen. Stuck and committed. Gets him into the post at least with a Dizzy to try and refight this one. It did connect onto him. Having to dodge this one with a snake bite. Drop down at their feet. No more advancing out through the elbow angle, but they do have to be worried about these hookah players still. Lev Calling for a pause, waiting for the util, but the smoke's dropped down. Now sends out the thrash. That's a detainment. In through the back again. It's all about just denial and delaying all this time. G2 just trying to find these advantages, whatever they can get. Lev struggling to get themselves forwards here with Wingman flying. Finally, the time is now, but broken in the moment. 1v2 for Valen. Sticking all the way with Com as a sole defender.
What a phenomenal round from Com. Lev put the squeeze on very slowly. G2 had a great reaction to go and take elbow control, but got locked out by a molly, couldn't force the fights, and Lev just slowly posted themselves onto deeper and deeper angles, doubling up. And it's this play. I think Trent had a chance there to win the round for G2, but couldn't get a kill.
Nice round, guys.
Damn, I'm kind of cringe.
I mean, remember that this is Com coming out of almost winning a 1v3 on the pistol.
He's feeling good. Top of the scoreboard for his team. Vibes are definitely up. Aggressive down A short. They're going to catch a player potentially, but instead just a bullet for Tex. Only thing being caught.
And this round almost over before it began.
Yeah, you lose 2 players.
Yeah, 2 fights. And not even a fight, I don't think, from King. Sorry, from Com. Looks like it might have just been jiggling for information or something and got caught by the G2 players.
And slow and steady paying off here for G2.
You're expecting Lev to try to make some kind of play to equalize things. In a 3v5, the team with the player disadvantage is almost forced to make some kind of risky play.
It's so cautious right now.
I like this from Leaf. He's just working his way down. If he spots a bunch of players, then they can call the react into B. But otherwise, if he takes space, then they have a chance to return back to him. Leaf, though, is coming that he's not hearing anything, and the G2 players are starting to coalesce towards
hesitancy,
A.
Man, there's hesitancy here with 33 seconds left.
This is rough.
Stimmy dropped. Got to get a run on. Got to get a move on.
Left.
And Lev have called the right stack. Snake bite. Just battering off the shoulder here. Aspas avoiding the dizzy. Satchel's in and through. Wingman needs to be denied and broken, but it's being held. It's guarded for now. Into the post plan we go. Nades. Like I said, a little bit late and delayed, but now doubled up. Lev looking to try and take some fights together. It's going to have to be that firepower that bails you out of this spot. Molly rebounding. Orb to be propped up and placed up. Snake bite. Forced them way out into the open for King. An easy collection of 2. A tap onto it. Molly over the top. Don't think that's going to be rebounding. Time's going to be bought as well. G2 should be able to just play to us one now as well. Just not really facing too much. The Molly surely doing the work of a mosh pit. Send flying up and over 2v2. Beautiful to cross that placement again. It's that time against him. As the ring just descends onto that spike, Aspas realizes it. The time is up for any chance to win that round. All the right protocols there for G2 in their post.
You see how much post-plant utility they had available there?
I mean, that's brutal.
Waves of it coming at the Leviatán defenders. And despite King's heroics of picking up 2 in lamps, which is way more than you would expect from him. And look at this, what a play to bring things into a 3v3, but they still weren't able to convert. I think Lev also missed a trick there in the 3v5. When they had Aspas in position over towards Showers, I think he's got to try to make a fight as they come down short there. He timing the dizzy, but he didn't go for a kill. Yeah. He didn't try to deny Wingman.
Denying a plan there, I
think it's almost impossible to win the round from that point.
Yeah.
Lev are going to take a timeout. Remember that this round began with a push down short from Aspas with a bit of support, and then Com also getting caught over towards B long. And G2 are running a very disciplined default. So Lev may be calling here in their attack timeout to cool things down a little bit. To sit a little more passive in sight, allow the G2 execs to come towards them. Because going for these early round fights has not really been working. Coming into the next round though, Leviatán's economy is going to be knocked. So G2 with a great chance here of going up to 10-7. And they're about to get massive ults online on both sides too. So listen, if this round gets scrappy, Lev might have their chances to turn things.
They certainly will.
Otherwise, we're going to see an outrageous round 18.
That should be quite standard here for G2. Same game plan, haven't really mixed too much up. Very slow play to begin with, but this time everybody grouped up over towards Showers. I think they're just aiming to deny the chance of any ult ults being picked up. They know that Lev are on that half buy, they know that they're close to a few ults.
This
Two-way for Aspas.
one of the first rounds, actually, that we've seen G2 go heavy towards showers, which they did a lot against 100 Thieves, and Lev are in position to crunch.
And this off angle by Aspas could just rip someone's head straight off. Almost preordained in that position. You just expect him to get those.
A bit too slow, though, from the reactions of those B players. They're only now just starting to come through the teleport.
They're behind them.
Full sight.
Yeah, full sight. Even being called to flip it around the back. Snakebite is good. Pushing them back in the way. How is King still hitting that one? Surely not. Okay, finally dealt with. Taken out 3v3 in the process. This isn't a weapon online for Tepix.
This is not comfortable for G2. They don't control spawn. They don't control short. They're getting pinched on from all three positions. It's so claustrophobic.
And that is why you're seeing the ults being offloaded now. Orbital Strike has to be used. Mazzino, he's creeping and crawling back, just trying to link up with him. And Tex forwards taking that fight, just trying to offset it. Not with a movement though, and still down to 1v2. Mosh Pit finally finding it. Pushing him out wide for the Classic to do the dirty work. That's a Lev win, and you said it, you called it, Josh. Listen, there's chances to offload the ults and win that one on a thrifty round for Lev. It's going to make things much easier for them.
And it's comms seekers, I think, that end up doing it. But also, rather than that being something that Lev did incredibly well on the back of the ults, I think I've got to call out the fact that G2 did not take enough space. They react into sight nicely, but they know that they've lost showers control and they don't have short anymore. You've got to go and take something. You've got to go and take spawn, take heaven. You've planted back sight. Why are you not reacting into spawn, into heaven, and fighting com? Too much respect. Too much fear there, perhaps, for G2. And the game's flipped.
Just like that, moment's notice. Ults online here for Lev. Good guns and weapons. A lot of kit as well in the back pocket. Just hold him for now. Interesting setup.
Yeah, and if there had been rifles on board, if G2 had won that previous round, this one would be a massive exchange of ultimates. But you get a similar situation again if G2 start to get some opening picks.
So much respect being showcased by Lev. I mean, going to let them lurk all the way up. A few bullets almost bringing down Icy.
And yeah, after that tactical timeout, Bren, I think it has been a call for Lev to just sit back in the sights a little more.
Slowing it down ever so slightly. Top of the box, Aspas having to give up and retreat from that position. Moshpit forced out. Slow seas of a round.
Heal up, squad.
G2. Looking for an opening pick, looking for an opening kill. Not going to be finding it with those shots, just going wide of the mark. All the way back here.
The rotate from G2, looking to try to end towards B.
A weird one.
Mazzino's already been called over, and Valen only has a single smoke. I think this is going to be very tough for G2 to get value. Although Mazzino is going back.
And King doesn't have any snake bites here to delay. Finally sent flying with King dropping. Only 13 seconds left into this one. You've got to get that plan online, Com. If he seeks to deny, it could be everything that they need. And Mazzino floods forward, pushing past it, finally breaking it. No plan in sight. Trent tries to show off that mechanical prowess, but won't be able to get it done there. 9-9 here. Lev still not even using too many of those ults at all. Look at it, 4 online.
And this now becomes the round that could define the game. It's going to be economy on the line for G2. Oh, that's brutal.
Come on, guys, let's go.
Beautiful.
Get cool.
You hear Mazzino at the end there actually calling out the ults that his opponents have, I think. So they've got a game plan around what's going on. This is going to be a massive clash of ults, though. Aspas getting tucked over towards the teleporter here. Not a play they've gone for thus far.
Trailblazer needs to be broken, though. Attempt to defend it. Rocket forwards. They expect it. But the dog being broken just highlights the position of Aspas as well as they have the war hacks. And they can't hold on to Octagon. No control of it. Here with a sight gained and garnered. Plan down for Valen. Easily done. There will be no pushback.
No, and in the meantime, Trent's Thrash came all the way through Hookah. It's just that classic play that G2 went for the last time they had Trent's ult online.
She's still gunning for you.
They're just running strats out of their strat book, and Lev not in a position to try to disrupt that, despite being aware of the ults that were online. G2 looking to mop up.
They do so in a very clean fashion. 4 players surviving.
But okay, that's G2 getting back into things, stabilizing their economy to some degree. But Lev can still buy, and Lev still have massive ults available. They didn't use any in the prior round. So because that's not an eco swing round for Leviatán, they can now respond back and try to do damage to G2's economy. Rather than being that big explosive exchange of ultimates, like I was anticipating, there's more back and forth here.
Yeah,
G2 taking their free round, and now Lev looking to try to do the same.
Exactly.
Don't think anyone's in position to pressure the pit very quickly. There's 3 players, but it's not like you have Icy here with Boombot.
It's a real interesting pit as well. Curving all the way around. King going to be playing inside this one with the judge.
For G2 now, how do you want to try to clear this? The more time you take to clear it, the worse it can be, because then you end up in a situation where Aspas techs have ults that can win the round. The flash to follow up there, actually, from Com.
Very heads up.
Yeah, because the dog had given G2 a timing to try to contact into showers. And then the flash lets them know that they were trying it.
It's up to Com to try and defend his teammates back here. King, despite having the coverage of the pit, he is quite vulnerable in that spot. If they get squeezed and lose showers control, Flash is good with the connection, but Com, he topples almost as immediately as you go. King now just trying to play inside the dominated positions. Jonah P, look at the wrist and snap straight to the dome. Over the strike, forced down nice and early, but that won't stop the plan from going down. And Aspas even to commit. Oh! What? Leaping boundless straight past it.
How is Leaf still alive?
How the hell is that a -8? Another pit of their own. Drop down Mosh Bear. Leaf trying to leap out of the way. Lev have cleaned this one up almost entirely now.
It's flipping around, but look at Jonah P coming around behind showers. There is no way that Tex is thinking about this, but they haven't broken the wingman.
Not at all.
Broken the wingman.
And it's still diffusing. Broken in the final moments. Jonah P on 23 health, but he needs to play out in the open. And he's not doing it. Doesn't call the block. Full stick.
What a mad round!
What the hell's occurring?
What an absolutely bonkers round there that Lev have managed to steal away. When G2 got themselves into the site, dodged Com's flash, and picked off King, should have been curtains. It really should have been. Especially when this ult finds nothing.
Oh yeah, you're kidding me.
I mean, how is that not getting a kill when it's on top of the bench there as well? It just gets, it vanishes into textures unknown only to the deepest of depths. But here, the wingman being able to get half and then the follow-up puts us at 10-10. Ults all expended. Just for those final couple of rounds to be flipped.
I mean, these two teams could not be closer. G2 have been playing this one so slow, so steady at the beginning of almost every single attack side round.
Yeah, they really tried to play with the pace, force Lev into making those aggressive moves so that they can try to punish it. And after that tag timeout that we saw, Lev have not been going for those more aggressive plays. We have Com, instead of jiggling, actually going for the Trailblazer, you know, really trying to minimize risk is Lev on the defense side.
Emma King just gets the acknowledgement. Players approaching the position.
On the other side of the map, using Wingman to clear out any potential lurk.
Going for a double fight here. Maybe even potentially the bait and switch. Satchel across by Icy, immediately punished, and more so than that, it's a sand crunch right from behind. Colliding and crashing right into them. GT will seek to at least maybe carve out a path into the round, but with the spike drop down, very limited in terms of the options. We'll try and force these fights and force them well. Flash deep into it, into the back of the side. Leave! How are you managing that? Stay by still, bit of vulnerability there. He's burning. And for the toes, repositions, doubled up, damage done. Could be anyone's game still with the spike even dropped down in his position. Util in your hands, what are you playing at? Leave! Into that 1v1. Wingman broken, 14 seconds. Got to get a move on, but he does not know where Tex is. 11 left. Knives out now, getting a full run and sprint forwards and back towards the site. Safety.
I think he's got to know that the play is long by now. Otherwise, Tex would have been shooting him in the back.
Surely would have punished him. And Tex is weak enough himself. Have G2 really done enough to carve out a spot for success in this round? The answer is yes. All on the back of Leaf.
These last 2 rounds have become so chaotic. Just ludicrous scenarios all over the place. The fact that Mazzino was even able to be punished in back halls there, this play, is because the wall is up.
These teams are just pushing themselves to the limits with the proactive calls that they're making. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many scrims you've played. You don't get tested like this. You don't see rounds like that.
Yeah, we haven't scrimmed this exact scenario, actually. But G2, with the back and forth, have actually done enough damage to Leviatan's economy that they are now on an anti-eco about to go up onto map point. They're taking an attack time out here to discuss what's going on. But somehow, coming out of all of that madness, G2 standing in a great position. One away from being able to get Orbital Strike online, but I don't think that's a game plan they're necessarily going to be working around. It's more to do with ensuring that somebody on Lev is not able to turn the tables with, you know, a Sheriff in a sneaky position or something like that. Back-to-back
timeouts. Yeah, Lev have called one.
G2 took a tack timeout, and then we went into Leviatan's tack timeout. That's so frustrating.
King's back to sleep. They said their piece in the G2 timeout.
Exactly. You rarely have more to go over.
Yeah.
You don't need double timeouts to be able to discuss everything. So now, Aspas just trying to focus, visualize what the next rounds are going to look like, how you find the win. And from our point of view, guys, Aspas has been given a hero Vandal coming into the next round.
That's com purchasing it for him. Despite com being at the top of the scoreboard, listen, I mean, there's been no qualms, I think, about his individual play on this map.
No, not at all. But listen, if there's one player on Lev that's gonna win you a round, it would be Aspas. I don't think that that's a mistake at all to give the Vandal over to him. So yeah, take a look at this economy. G2 in a fantastic position to get themselves up to 12. Get that map point on their map pick to open up the BO5 in the lower bracket final.
A huge advantage.
And Aspas stands in their way.
Looking to play spoiler. Double up now. Looks like the take from Lev here.
And this actually looks quite similar to a defensive setup we've seen before from Lev, where you double contest showers at the start of the round, and if G2 go into a short push, then you're trying to play for wingman denial. But last time, if you remember, they didn't deny the wingman, and they got stuck in a bit of an awkward spot. So that's going to be my focus. You want to be seeing Aspas here use nade or have some kind of spam to stop this plant.
Dog gets no info there, but at least with the Utah flying over and abound.
There's the nade.
Nade rebounds. Denies the plant.
Good denial.
That's exactly part of the game plan here. Satchel, don't think that was the intended spot for it, but a smoke now drops off because they realize they've lost control of showers here in the TP rotations. Lev fully grouped up now with 4 of those players. Plant now down late. Flank attempt. Leaf is coming from behind. Might be able to catch a player or two, but already Lev have managed to gain control and access to the side here. They're not going to be expecting this one. Molly's already flying up and above and around. It's going to be again buying even more time off the clock. Hasn't been pushed back, hasn't been delayed, and here's Leaf. It's that backup insurance policy with him just circling all the way around the world and just taking off names from the list. There's really no chance, no opportunities anymore for Lev. Made a decent go of things.
And Aspas, the last player alive, not given a fair fight at any point during this round.
That's just the way G2 play. Hyper-disciplined, not willing to give you any weaknesses that you can pry open yourself and maybe find yourself winning on a half-fire thrifty round. Hyper-drilled in terms of just their understanding of making sure that they don't leave any of those opportunities.
And all of that post-plant utility that Lev had already seen before, but Lev chose not to try to push up short. I think that's a miss. I think they're really struggling to come up with good timings to deal with the G2 short push. I think Valorant could just run that one again. But instead, seeing them start with a default where they take some sand control. And them on map point.
All or nothing.
1 round away from going towards G2.
It would be a stellar beginning here for this Ascension team that's now playing up to the top level. Don't get me wrong, they've been there before. Different era though, perhaps.
Yeah, and also, that was this G2 core being at the top of the North American teams. You know, now they're playing against super teams from across the Americas. It is different.
Ollie sent flying. Clears truck position. King, what an opening. Fallon's going to be caught out. That's actually an orbital strike that's going to be removed for this post, as well as that a satchel pushing him back and away. Wingman I'm going to be trying to get this plant online. Here's the next level of it. Another nade sent flying. Clear game plans here. It's evident from Lev, and our call to fight. Flash doubled up into the back of the lines, but Lev are going to be isolated from all of this one here. Trent just trying to get that stick, and he does get the plant down at least, but they toppled and lost players as a result of it. It's on to Leaf now. Again, another flank time. Mosh pit out wide and open, but the off angle not anticipated. Trent just sends it flying forwards, at least with the wingman, but his back is open. And Com is right there, betrayed by the barrel, sticking out wide. 11th round gain for Lev. They're not done with Bind just yet.
And such a better way of denying plant there. Satchel into nade, into spam, maintaining that control over bench instead of giving it up and hiding in showers. Superb protocols for dealing with the plant, and something that Lev have been getting wrong, I think, for the majority of what they've been doing so far on Bind. What a late adaptation to fix their counter to G2's short push. But is it too little, too late? The ultimates are starting to pile up on the side of our leading team of G2. Thrash. Where have we seen Thrash been played? Every single time on sand. And Lev are going to try to deny that with an immediate flash. The flash itself actually beefed by Com. And so Aspas is not on this angle early. But it's good enough to let him know there's no one here.
They're really going to be seeking to take a fight here. Players could be watching, but no, their backs open to it! Punishment! And Trent, I mean, he was just locked into the animation.
Couldn't be better, though. The read, it's excellent. Even though G2 were modifying what they were doing with that Thrash, still found the perfect timing. Is there any chance for Icy and Leaf to turn this one around? Leaf's making a lurk play happen over towards A right now.
But look at King.
I mean, King is playing so passively because he's lost info about Leaf. If Icy dies, though, the round is chalked.
It's inevitable at this point, isn't it? Looks like it. They hear the footsteps.
Yeah, this is just giving the perfect timing for these Lev players. Knife out reflank is going to be like, what, 5 seconds later than Icy to short?
Lev are going to be far enough away, though, that they should get into the post plant. Pit down as well. Definite chances here for G2. It's all about how they play it in the moment. All eyes on these flanking players. 3 grouped up from Lev. King from the back is trying to seek for some noise and the timing. An off-angle fight by Icy, not favored. Leaf is low enough here and he just can't quite collect it. It's Leviatán team, eager for a scrap, eager for the brawls. Throwing in a bit of proactivity when they just slowed it down and just gone entirely away from it, but what a hell of a read from them.
Yeah, a great read, and I think the fact that G2 have gone for that Thrash play over towards Sand twice, it did mean that it was very sensible for Lev to start pushing in this kind of area. And they caught the perfect timing too. So we go overtime. That ult advantage that was potential there for G2, wiped clean, even on both sides. And I think, to be honest with you, Brent, Lev have been the team that have been impressing me with the adaptations later on in this map.
I would agree, yeah. I think that they're thinking about the ults that they've got on the opposition side. I mean, G2, I'm not going to say they're readable here, but I think we have kind of teed this up as a battle of the minds, the IGLs, the teams themselves, and the adaptations going back and forth. Doesn't get much more so than this Bind map. 12-12 into our first round of OT.
And once again, Com is supposed to be the distraction here with his Sky utility, disguising this push down short.
Walk up though. Lev going to be hearing it, dropping down. Icy. He's got the awareness at least that they could have lurked and crept themselves deep.
They dodged the
into
boom
it.
bot.
They dodged it. And now it's all about these timings to be taken to the expected damage. Through the box and done to Valen, eventually dropping him, finding that one. Nade rebounds, but a little bit too late, does not deny it. And that's overwhelming. Brute force is the play. Jonah P is alone here, not expecting and anticipating that one for Mazzino. Right from behind. Lev up to 13 now, unless Leaf can just pull off a miracle once more, but it just looks unlikely, and indeed it is. So, shoes on the other foot here. G2 found themselves 1 round away from potentially closing out the map, but now it's Lev in that exact same spot.
Will Lev have the tenacity to convert? I think this was an amazing call. I've been really impressed with what Lev have been putting together on the defense and attack side. Adaptations, the cool calls. This is the second time they've gone for a contact play down short, but they're disguising stuff so well with Com's utility. And the fact that they dodged the boombot as well by dropping wall and then heading into sight, all perfection.
G2 forced to answer.
One round's going to be standing for. They're just sealing up this map. Love to do it. G2's map picker binds in a best of 5. Any advantage you can get nice and early into these grueling tests. Gonna be hunting for it, Leaf. Actually isolated onto the left-hand side.
And
Really
surely
have an exit strategy.
This calls the reaction from G2 down short, right? And now Lev, can they deny plan?
Get up the gut, Boombot leading it forward. It's a nade! Even better! I mean, it only seeks to deny the plan, but it catches the player instead.
Molly as well. I mean, Lev, the adaptations, their protocols, they're just working so much better than they were at the start.
Surely this is it, with a flash and a peek, no way! G2, what a recovery! Managing to at least find a foothold into the round. Ridiculous stuff come from the side, must spin round and wide. 14-12 finish. It got scary. Off balance a little bit for both of these teams into the final moments. But a lovely beginning here for Leviatán in this best of 5 lower finals.
And I said when it came to the map pool that G2 probably had that slim advantage because their permaban of Sunset, Lev are great at. But if you're coming out here with your first pick and Lev steal it away in overtime, that is going to make things so difficult for our Ascension team. Lev are looking pretty to start this BO5 out.
Certainly are. What to think about as well as we head into the next map of Breeze.
What a brawl that could be.
In terms of who it favors.
I mean, we might be treated to the IGLing adaptation masterclass map 1 and then just an all-out slugfest map 2 with the star players going head-to-head. I can only hope.
Yeah, might just be an absolute slugfest like you said. I mean, these two teams taking chunks out of each other, but a hell of an early lead here for Lev. We're going to be stepping away for but a moment. Uber and the analyst desk going to be breaking it all down for map number 1.
Look what I've just made. The perfect pearl.
Not too bad, but check this out.
Whoa, a true Venus clam.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Hey guys, it's Jimmy Lin. In this series, I'm going to walk you through attack on Pearl. Watch out for the stairs, clear this angle. You're going to be able to fight this.